Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Superhero Deep Dive. I am your host Jason. I have a listener request in today, so let me get my disclaimers out of the way and we'll get into it. So the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. Also, if you guys ever want to reach out to me, I have multiple ways to reach out to me. If you have any questions, comments, critiques, requests for future episodes, fun facts you'd like to add, your own storylines you'd like to share, stuff like that, it would be great. I love having conversations with you guys. You can always reach me via email at b4itall, so b4itall@yahoo.com. You can catch me on Twitter or Instagram under Super Deep Dive, and I use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. You can also reach me on on YouTube. I have a channel called Superhero Deep Dive. If you find it, please subscribe, like the video, share them, help me grow the channel. If I get to 500 subscribers, I will do a giveaway, which, it'll be good. And also, it really does help me out, growing the channel and getting exposure for the podcast out there. Cause I'd love to actually do live shows sometime. And in fact, I was trying to do a live show earlier today, but then I found out that when I tried to do a YouTube live, I had to request access for it. And that takes time. So that's not happening. But you live and you learn, you try again. If it is a Tuesday or Thursday, you can find me on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their website is www.un-con-conventional.com/radio. And I am on throughout the day on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But anyways, let's get into it. I am talking about Doorman. If you don't know about Doorman, you should, because he's actually pretty cool. He's part of the Great Lake Avengers, which is kind of an offshoot team. They're not really Avengers affiliates, they're kind of Avengers adjacent. It's just like they just took the name. His real name is Damar Davis, and little is actually known of his life before he responded to Mr. Immortal's advertisement for a hero team that would eventually become the Great Lakes Avengers. It has been revealed, however, that he is a mutant and he is African American. So, for a team like the Great Lakes Avengers, which is kind of an unknown team, it's out in the Great Lakes, which you never hear of anything happening supervillain wise in the world. It's a cool thing because he does actually give it some diversity and representation, which is important. And it's representation with merit. I'm not necessarily a fan of representation or diversity without merit, but I am 100% behind diversity and representation with merit. People, especially in the hero game, I would imagine that your lives are put on the line. So you can't just be there to be there. You have to be able to hold your own. So I do appreciate that. Now, before joining the Great Lakes Avengers, Damar Davis was an average American. Sometime during his years in college, Damar's mother died, and after completing 4 years of college and 3 years of graduate school, Damar decided to answer Mr. Immortal's newspaper ad asking for costume adventurers to work together to form a team. Damar, being a mutant with the unique teleporting ability, is able to allow his teammates entrance into almost any structure. He was actually a founding member of the Great Lakes Avengers. He was first seen in public with the team by Hawkeye and Mockingbird, who later agreed to become their mentors. With the team, he helped Hawkeye and the West Coast Avengers against That Which Endures. They also assisted Mockingbird in a holding action against Terminus, and after aiding the Thunderbolts against the villain Graviton, the team clashed with the mercenary Deadpool. Doorman is, however, the most cynical of the Great Lakes Avengers, constantly comparing the team to the real Avengers, usually at inappropriate times, and sometimes feeling embarrassed by his friends. Nonetheless, Damar cares for them deeply and values each and every member of the team. To me, I think that's brilliant writing because it's realistic. I come from a large family. Like, I have like 50 cousins on each side. My mom was one of 11, my dad was one of 8. So, I have this huge family. Where I grew up, we were all in each other's business. Everyone knew everything about each other. And it became really invasive, I guess. Like, people would come and was like, hey, how did blah 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 go? And you're like, wow, I haven't even told anyone about this yet. And it's because they're so large and vast that they either found out from someone that was there, or anyone I may have trusted with the information, it just leaked out. They may have overheard it. I mean, they're everywhere. So when I moved out, I moved away from my family, not because I don't love them, but because of the invasiveness. But there were times where you just don't get along. You may feel like, wow, this is crazy. If we weren't related, we wouldn't be friends, kind of thing. I have had those moments, and I'm sure my relatives have had those moments with me where we just didn't connect. But if I ever needed any of them, if any of them ever needed me, we'd be there for each other. Hands down. And that's what it is. And so that's how he's written. He's written like that. Like, he views the Great Lakes Avengers as his family. He may not get along with everyone. He may not like them. But he is there for each and every one of them. And he makes them a priority. So that's awesome. Now, during the JLA miniseries, or not JLA, GLA, miniseries, the team took on Maelstrom, who was trying to destroy the universe. After one of the members named Dinosaur, after her death, Mr. Immortal suffers a nervous breakdown, leading Flatman and Doorman to search for new members. They went to New York City, where they failed to recruit a number of heroes, and while in Central Park, they're saved by Squirrel Girl and her sidekick Monkey Joe from Muggers. They offer to recruit her in the team, and she accepts. Later, they hear an alarm on a nearby factory and encounter the Grasshopper, who is battling Batroc the Leaper and his minions. During the battle, Flatman offers to recruit him, and Grasshopper quickly accepts, only to be instantly killed by Zarin, one of Batroc's minions, who threw a sigh that passed through Doorman and landed on his head. Dang, that sucks. Damar feels that it is his fault that Grasshopper died, and therefore sunk into a slight depression. Well, yeah, kinda. During this time, he also tried to scare Squirrel Girl off the team because he feared that she would also die while in service to the GLA, but he later apologizes to her. During their final battle, Doorman gets killed, sacrificing himself so that Mr. Immortal can stop Maelstrom. In the afterlife, he met the other deceased GLA members, including Grasshopper, who forgave him, and Doorman was, however, intrigued by the absence of Hawkeye until Mockingbird tells him that he became the new swordsman. Shortly afterwards, the cosmic entity Oblivion summoned him, declaring that he could prove useful to him because of his connection to the Dark Force dimension, akin to someone named Death Urge, who had been recently captured by Mr. Immortal. Doorman therefore replaced Death Urge and became Oblivion's new Angel of Death. Taking Death Urge's place, Doorman took Maelstrom to the afterlife after he was tricked into killing himself by Mr. Immortal and was able to return to the GLA. As a servant of Oblivion, he is able to summon skis to fly and is intangible. Doorman continues to be a member of the GLA, and after he helped his friends save the universe from Maelstrom, he understands the team's importance and has a newfound respect for them. After receiving a subpoena from the real Avengers and discovering that they were all mutants, the team decided to change their name to the Great Lakes X-Men, complete with new costumes. Because it's what you do, right? Now, during the GL-Xmas special, the team confronted Dr. Tannenbaum, who has released an army of living Christmas trees on the citizens of Wisconsin. Because he wanted that Christmas cheese. No, I don't know. Later, Doorman informed the team that he had to go visit his father. Upon reaching his father's house, his father quickly complained that Damar was throwing his life away and needed to join the real world. He told his son that he had stupid powers and all the other heroes have better powers than you. Realizing that his own happiness was more important than his father's respect, take a note, his own happiness was more important than his father's respect, because you have to respect yourself first. You can't live if you're constantly relying on other people's approval. You have to approve of yourself first. I get that, and I appreciate them writing that. Damar finally admitted happiness was more important than his father's respect. Okay, Damar finally admitted the truth to his father, that he had died and come back as an angel of death. He had not come back to visit his father, but rather to collect his soul. Oh my gosh, as he had fallen off the roof while setting up Christmas lights and died. The revelation of Damar's new role in the universe greatly pleased his father, who couldn't wait to brag to all his friends in heaven about how his son was a new angel of death. Jeez, dude. Oh, Jiminy Crickets, you gotta be kidding me on this. This is comedy. This is comedy gold. I'm gonna get a sip of water. Hold on. Okay, sorry about the dead air. Had to get some water. Oh man, that is awesome. Okay. The team participated in a charity superhero poker tournament hosted by The Thing, where Flatman beat their host in the final round. Flatman's status as champion inspired the team to rename themselves the Great Lakes Champions. After being discouraged from affiliation with both the X-Men and the Defenders by members of those teams present at the tournament, ignoring the protest of former champions of Los Angeles member Hercules. In the ongoing series, The Great Lakes Avengers, it is revealed that the team had disbanded and gone their separate ways. During that time, Doorman continued on his role as an Angel of Death. He then meets Flatman and Big Bertha at a local diner, and after being informed that the JLA had been reinstated as a permanent addition to the Avengers, they relocate to Detroit, Michigan, where they meet a girl named Pansy at their new headquarters, a factory owned by Tony Stark. The team then goes to a local bar to try to convince the owner to turn down the music, and the owner, Nain Rogue, instead refuses and begins to insult them, particularly Mr. Immortal and Big Bertha. Upon being arrested after getting into a fight, Doorman escapes and finds Mr. Immortal inside a coffin. He then brings him back to the surface, convincing him to help the others. After Connie Ferrari gets the other Great Lakes Avengers out of the police station, Doorman is present when Goodness Silva was added to the Great Lakes Avengers, where she takes on the name of Good Boy. After the team discovers that Dick Snurd shut them down... There's some great names. Okay, after Dick Snurd shut them down, Mr. Immortal returns and takes Flatman on patrol, while Bertha, Doorman, and Good Boy go to Nain Rogue's bar to find clues. Upon entering the bar, Doorman is pulled into the Dark Force dimension, where Oblivion angrily demands an explanation for his absence. Doorman then goes back to work when he gets a text from Bertha, who was injured while fighting Dr. Knob and his squad. During the battle, Dr. Knob takes more of the weight loss supplements, becoming much bigger and monstrous. On Mr. Immortal's suggestion, the team performs a maneuver that has Doorman and Mr. Immortal get inside Dr. Nod's body, where Mr. Immortal manages to kill him by punching his heart. Not gonna lie, that's kind of insane, and I want to see that. After their victory, the team is visited by Deadpool, who tells them they've just been fired and he can no longer use the Avengers name, leaving them confused. Wow. What a history. What a history on this character. Let's go into his powers. Doorman is capable of teleporting people through solid walls with his own body serving as a portal. His mutant ability operates by tapping into the Dark Force dimension, and he also has the ability to levitate. Originally, his all-black appearance was a costume of apparently conventional material with stark white eyepieces and the mask as contrast. However, since becoming Oblivion's servant, his body seems to be an assumed shape rather than a simple costume, and he can transform at will from his form to his non-costume self. After Death Urge was vanquished, Doorman also gained intangibility, flight via skis that he can summon at will, and the ability to collect the souls of the recently deceased and deliver them to Oblivion. While doing so, he appears visible only to the soul he is collecting and possibly also his teammate Mr. Immortal, who could perceive Death Urge before. So that's kind of crazy. Fun facts. There's not many on him. He's like, when we go into obscure characters, he is one of the most obscure because he's always been a part of a team in the background. Fun facts. After dying and being resurrected by Oblivion to become its new Angel of Death, Doorman's appearance has changed as he now possesses white gloves, boots, and a cape, and skis, the trademarks of his predecessor Death Urge. In fact, the only difference in appearance from Death Urge are the white eyes that were once the eyepieces of his original costume. So, guys, that's his powers, that's fun fact, that's his history. What do you guys think of Doorman? I mean, he's pretty inventive, right? Like, I mean, he's a teleporter, but in the most basic of ways. He is literally a doorway. So, you know, where do we go? What do we do from here? Let me know. Like I said, you can always reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram under superdeepdive, and I use the hashtag superherodeepdive. You can email me directly at b4itall, so b4itall at yahoo.com. Or you can, if you're watching this on YouTube, which I upload new shows every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, you can leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, help me grow the channel. Like I said, I'll do a giveaway at 500 subscribers, so it'll be great. But also, you know, this is where I have a lot of conversations. I get emails every so often. Every blue moon I'll get like a DM on Instagram or something. But yeah, a lot of the conversations happen on YouTube, and I acknowledge every comment. So let's hear what you have to say. If you have requests for future episodes, I'd love to hear it. But let's get into the power expansions. This is where I look at the character and I go like, you know, do they need their own comic series? Do they need a new story? Do they need an animated series, a movie? Last week we covered, who did we cover? Silver Sable, and we did a one shot over. But you know, there could be movies, there could be anything, and we've covered them all. And this is no exception. You know, when I think of Doorman, I think of inner angst and comedy. This is someone who has cut down their whole lives, becomes a superhero, ends up on what would be considered a joke of a team, and no matter what he accomplishes, he is still told that his powers are stupid. Like, geez, man, like, you need a break from all that negativity. Like, he is just constantly bombarded. So for this character, what I'm seeing is kind of like a Hulu show. Like what they did with MODOK. And if you haven't watched it, it's pretty funny. I highly recommend it. Have it be satirical and in the same comedy veins as like Family Guy or Robot Chicken, which MODOK was definitely in that same vein. And have it look at the Great Lakes Avengers as a whole. It can even be like the doll or claymation style like Robot Chicken does. And MODOK was, it seemed like more claymation. But it can be in that style, but it needs to stay in the comedy realm. Like the GLA has awesome material for it, and Doorman is essential for that. You know, he plays that cynical character. He plays that character that just always has something to say, but he's got this humor, like almost like a deadpan humor. where he says what people think, and he calls stuff out. But other than that, I really don't know what to do with him. Like I said before, he was actually a listener request, so I am actually anxious to hear your thoughts on the character or any other characters that we should cover. I've got Doorman. I've got Angela lined up. This one was actually requested after Angela, but I decided to go ahead and do this first because I try to mix up male and female characters, and I try to mix up Marvel and DC. But right now, a lot of the stuff I have is very Marvel heavy, and it's because we covered. I think it was during the Polaris episode. We ended up covering like Havoc right afterwards. And then, it led to Danny Moonstar of the New Mutants. And I've got lots of other ones. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 more Marvel characters. And I agreed with the person that requested an Angela that I'm going to do the Image Comics Angela and not the Marvel Angela. Which they're the same character, but I'm just going to cut it off when she enters the Marvel universe because that's not the Angela. That wasn't the original Angela. That's not the Angela I know and love. So, but what do you guys think? What do you think? What ideas do you have for Doorman? How would you tackle this character? Would you even tackle this character? Would you like to see other characters kind of enter the realm? Let me know in the comments. Send me an email at b4itall, so b4itall@yahoo.com, or send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter under superdeepdive. But other than that, I'm gonna head out, guys. I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone is happy. I hope everyone is safe. And I hope everyone is smart. And if you're not smart, don't get caught. I'll see you later. Bye-bye, guys.